Hey everybody, it is time for What's for Dinner. What's for Dinner is our weekly recipe share where we get some cooking inspiration to satisfy that crazy question we're so tired of hearing, what's for dinner? Today, we're going to be making a classic beef burger. Okay, so it's my favorite season, summertime, or as it's also known, barbecue season. Okay, so for barbecue season, what better to have than the classic beef hamburger ready for the grill? All right, so what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna show you how to make that perfect burger. It's nicely seasoned, it's gonna be nice and juicy, delicious, and everyone's gonna wonder, how did you do it? So here we go. What you're gonna need is some lean ground beef, salt, black pepper, breadcrumbs, eggs, and today we're going to be a little fancy, so we're going to use some smoked cheddar and some caramelized onions. So good quality meat is really what's going to make the difference between an amazing burger and an okay burger. So if you have a local butcher shop, I really highly recommend that you pop over to your local butcher shop and get some ground beef. Now, if that's not something that's possible for you, that's okay. You can get some ground beef just from the grocery store. What I would recommend is a lean ground beef. Lean ground beef has about 20% fat. And I know it sounds a lot, but you want your burger to be nice and juicy. Extra lean ground beef, by the time it cooks, it's going to be super dry and not as enjoyable. So here we go. So I have my good quality ground beef. Next, I'm going to use, so I have 2 pounds here. So 2 pounds of ground beef, and I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of sea salt. So I recommend sea salt. It just has like a nicer flavor. It's not quite as metallic as iodized salt. Again, if that's what you have at home, no worries. Don't worry about it. But what I would suggest is that instead of 1 full teaspoon of the salt, you're only going to use half. So half a teaspoon of iodized salt, table salt, or 1 full teaspoon of sea salt. Okay, so it works out to be about half a teaspoon per pound of ground meat. So I put that in there. And then in here, again, I have about a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. That goes inside. And now I'm gonna add some breadcrumbs. So everything in your burger has a function. So the breadcrumbs, that's going to help to absorb some of the moisture, which is going to, so it doesn't release from the burger, which is going to help it to stay nice and juicy. So I have some breadcrumbs here. That's going to go inside. And that's only half a cup. So that's half a cup of breadcrumbs to 2 pounds of ground beef. The last thing we're going to add in here right now is our egg. So again, for about 2 to 3 pounds of meat, you only need 1 egg. So that's going in, and the egg is going to act as your binder to hold everything together. At this point, all we have left to do is mix. So I like to mix with gloves, just so my hands don't get super dirty. And I'm just going to mix this all together until all the ingredients are nicely incorporated. Now, if you like fresh herbs, you can always add a little bit of, say, chopped parsley or some chives if you want to add in a little extra flavor. So you can always do that. There's 2 pounds here, so we're going to divide this into 8 portions because I like to have a really juicy burger. So that makes about a 1/4 pound of meat for each burger. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back. I'm going to stuff half of them with some smoked cheddar and caramelized onions, and the other half I'm going to leave them plain. I've divided our ground beef into 8 balls. From here, it's easy just to smash it down with your hand. I kind of like doing this to make a nice round patty. Again, if you got little hands around, this is a perfect thing for the kids to do if they don't mind the feeling of the meat. You can give them some gloves, and you can smash it down into a nice patty, and they're ready to go at that point. So I'll do that. So those are plain burgers are ready to go. So what we're gonna do now is stuff our other patties. Okay. So what I like to do is just kind of make a well in the center, like that. And this is where all your filling is gonna go. So to it, I'll add some caramelized onion. So about a teaspoon. And I will add some of our smoked cheddar. A nice big heaping amount. So the temptation is to really add a lot of goodness in there, but you don't want it to ooze out of your burger. So too much would be too much, and then all it's gonna do is it's gonna come out. So it's like that. Now you're gonna gather it together and sort of pinch it to make a pocket, like that. And now I'm gonna flatten my burger. Okay, so we're ready to cook our burgers. I'm gonna give you a little burger tip though. So these burgers here are the ones that don't have any stuffing in it. So a little secret, don't tell anybody, to keep its shape is if you just make a divot in the center of the burger, what that does is it helps the burger to stay nice and round and to keep its shape. So we'll do that. It will even out once it's cooking. So it's not like you're gonna have like a big hole in the center of your burger, but it'll stay nice and round as opposed to becoming misshapen. So now these burgers are perfectly ready for the grill. But as you can see, I'm inside. So I won't be grilling these today. You can also just pan fry them and they're gonna be just as delicious. So to get a good, what you want for a good burger is a nice good sear on both sides. So to do that, I'm gonna get my heat going to really, really high heat. Okay, so my pan is nice and hot. It's actually smoking. So I'm gonna throw in some oil, and right away I'm gonna put just a little bit of oil because there is the fat in there. So just a tiny bit of oil, and then that's exactly what you wanna hear. I'll put my burgers in. High heat. And what we're gonna do is let this cook for 3 minutes before we flip it to the other side. All right, so it's been about 3 minutes, so it's time to just check on our burgers to see how they're doing. Oh, look at that, that is gorgeous. That is exactly what we're looking for. All right, so I'll flip these all over, and we're gonna give it another 3 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 3 minutes. A good way to check to see if your burger is done is when you squeeze your burger, the juices that come out should be clear. So as long as you see that clear juice, there's no pink coming out, your burger is gonna be cooked all the way through. So I'm gonna just remove these from the pan. Just have them on a paper towel to absorb a little bit of the excess grease. And then right in the same pan, I'm now gonna go in with my stuffed burgers. So remember, I'm gonna start with the filled side first. And this time, I will put it a little bit on medium high because I do want the crust, but I don't want the cheese and everything to ooze out of the burger. So I'm gonna turn it down a little bit to medium high. Let it start sizzling, and then I'll flip it over and finish it on the other side. So as you can see, our burgers are looking delicious. We have a little bit of the cheese oozing out. We have nice, beautiful color. So because the burgers are a little bit thicker and they do have the filling inside, we want to make sure that it is cooked all the way through because you don't want to have the raw ground beef. So what I'll do is create a little bit of an oven here, and I'll put a lid on it and just let it finish cooking for that last minute and a half, and that'll make sure that it gets cooked all the way through. I think they're done. Let's take a peek. Oh my, they look incredible. All right. So I'll take these out. There's no more pink. You don't see any more pink on them. That's great. So I'm going to scoop these out. Just kind of dab them off on our paper towel here. Perfect. Okay, so they look good. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna get ready to garnish these burgers and enjoy. All right, so all that's left is to toast our buns, because a good toasted bun really makes a difference in your burger, and then just to garnish it up. So I like to use, if I'm using the grill, I like just to put my buns directly on the grill. But if I've used a pan like I did today, I actually like to toast the buns directly in the pan, because any of the love and the flavor that's left is going to get soaked up into the bun and add that much more flavor. So I just grab a paper towel and let your pan cool a little bit first. But what we're going to do is just kind of wipe out any crumbs or excess grease. We don't want all of that, but we do want the sort of the flavor from the beef to kind of soak up into our bun. All right, so now that we've done that, our bun, just going to put it down into our pan and let that toast till it's nice and crispy. Oh, look at that, toasted to perfection. It is ready for my burger. Okay, so I think I'm gonna start with one of these cheesy goodness. So I'll take one of these burgers and I'll put that on here with, let's see, I think I'll do the works. So I have some lettuce. You can use whatever garnishes you enjoy. I have some onion, so a little bit of onion on there, and some tomato. Beautiful. Look at that. And I'll just do one of our regular burgers as well. Again, this one is going to get the works. Some lettuce, some onion, gorgeous, and some tomato. Let's take a look at what it looks like on the inside. I could eat that. So there you have it. Okay, so if you have your favorite burger recipe, I would love to see it. So post it, share it, let's talk about it. How do you make your burgers? This is mine, and so now it's your turn. I'm excited to see what you can do. We'll see you next time for What's for Dinner.